I'm just going to say it right off the front. God doesn't need your money. It's about a heart posture of love. I want to give to the person that I love. A natural expression of love is you want to give to those individuals. Well, today we're going to talk about giving. Now, let me ask you again, you glad you came today? I laugh because oftentimes giving is seen as this, oh, that's a private thing. It's a personal thing. You know, let's not talk about it in the church. And I will say, I grew up where it was talked about so much and you felt pressured almost like, you know, within the church. You'll notice in our church, the pendulum, I think, is swung too far the other way in some respects. We don't take an offering. I had a guy 2 weeks ago come up to me and he said, hey man, he goes, I'm just trying to give, but I have no clue how. You guys don't take an offering? How do you even support the church? How does it even happen around here? And I'm like, wow, we've really messed this up. We have tried to be so discreet and not being offensive that we've become almost like invisible in that area. And so I had to point him. I said, you know, the giving box is on the wall. He goes, what wall and what boxes? I literally brought him over and I said, right there, you see him? And he goes, okay, all right, I'm good. But I want to talk to you about this, and I want to talk to you about it in a couple ways, and I want you to hear two things as I start. Number one, God doesn't need your money. I'm just going to say it right off the front. God doesn't need your money. Don't come here and go, oh, you know, he's trying to squeeze it out of me. No, God doesn't need your money. I'm also going to tell you this. We're not behind budget. We're not in a bad place. And so we're not doing this because, oh, the church is really struggling. No, we're not. This happens to be a message really talking about us as believers in an area that we seldom talk about, but Jesus talks a lot about, is an area of worship. So we're going to have the talk today. I know in my own life, I've done this really well, and I've done it really poorly. Many of you have probably been there as well. I've had seasons where, you know, we gave well, and seasons where I had a lot of expenses and there was a lot of financial stress, and we gave poorly. And we had to wrestle ourselves with that reality, and I want you to hear this, because I believe this to be true. If we want an excuse why we're not giving, you'll find an excuse. I did. We will. Because life is expensive, it's hard, and money, no matter if you lay it on your nightstand, it doesn't multiply in the middle of the night. It's really weird. Actually, sometimes if you have kids, by morning, it's gone. If my wife leaves her purse around, it's gone. Because I get in there and take some out. But the truth is, we need to just have a good biblical conversation about giving, and I want to have that today. So let's begin. We're going to start in Psalm 24, verse 1, with this understanding, and that is godly giving begins with a right heart posture. A right heart posture. Look at what it says in Psalm 24, verse 1. It says, the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell therein. Simple verse, but it declares a truth that we need to understand, and that is this. We own nothing here. God has created it all. We are stewards, not owners. And when we get that confused and mixed up, everything goes sideways. You don't have to teach a child to be an owner, because they'll, even when they're young, it's like, mine, mine. And as we get older, we just know how to say it differently. This mindset, this biblical mindset, is that God is the creator. He's the one who gives us life. He gives us purpose. He gives us breath. And everything that you and I have in our hands is a gift from him. That's a mindset. That's a heart posture. Because if we get that wrong and we think we own it all, then we will not steward it well for the kingdom. It'll all be about us. But when I have this understanding that it's his, and I am a manager of that while I'm here on this earth, then I will view it completely different. Let me give you another heart posture piece here that I think is absolutely critical, and it's in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. He says this, the point is this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Did you hear what he said? He said this heart posture isn't one that, we've got to tithe. And we got to give our offering. It's not about that. It's about a heart posture of love. I want to give to the person that I love the most. You see, it changes there, and he says directly that we aren't to give out of obligation or compulsion because we have to. There's no value in that. We give because we want to. I don't struggle giving to my wife. I just don't. I struggle saying no. Why? Because I love her. And so I'll go, in the store. I'm thinking about Christmas, and I fail at this every year. We make a decision. This is how many gifts we're going to buy. We're going to get 3 gifts apiece and for each other. And we got to hold to it. You know who doesn't hold to it every year? I don't know why. It just did. I go, I saw it though, and I thought of you. So you get 4. Okay, 5. And I want to give her things because I love her deeply. A natural expression of love is you want to give to those individuals. And so what I'm saying is, when we're talking about giving in the church, sometimes what can happen is it's all about my obligation as a Christian or as a follower of Jesus to God. And I would say, just stop there. Go back and ask yourself this: if I struggle with giving, what does my love relationship look like with God? What does it look like? Because it's really an expression of what's going on in that love relationship. Another passage that supports this is in Matthew chapter 6, Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus says these words in verses 19 through 21. He says, Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth or rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And I think the key in that is this truth, this thought. And I want you to hear this. Oftentimes we say, well, I love God, so I'm going to give to him. He says this. He goes, you want to measure something? Find your treasure, and I'll tell you what you love. He says, one doesn't follow the other. it follows this way. He says, where your treasure is, go find your treasure, and I'll tell you that's where your heart is. It's interesting, isn't it? So we need to make sure that we do some good work at examining our heart posture in relationship to giving. It's not out of compulsion. It's not because we have to or we should. It's because we want to and we can.